Hey everybody, thanks for listening to Filling in the Gaps. As per usual, y'all are awesome. There is no announcements this week, other than that we might have a special guest here in the next 2 episodes, so keep an eye out for that. Besides that though, the only special announcement I have is that you, yes you, I'm talking directly to you, you're special, okay? Don't tell anybody else I told you this. Enjoy filling in the gaps.
Well, hey everybody, welcome out to another episode of Filling in the Gaps. As always, my name is Rich from the heartland state of Ohio, joined by my good friend from the biggest and baddest state of Texas, the one, the only, Cameron. Every week, the two of us take a random theme and scenario determined by 2 D20 rolls and mash them into some sort of idea that you can hopefully use during your next game night. We are not an actual play podcast. We're a let's brainstorm so you can actually play podcast. Did you like that?
Dude,
that was totally off the cuff.
Dude, that's a t-shirt.
We didn't plan that at all. That's
you gotta keep that forever now.
Keeping that.
What did you say? You gotta. What is it again? It was.
We're not an actual play podcast. We brainstorm ideas so
you
can actually play.
That's so great.
I like that.
Oh man,
I like that. All right.
I love
well,
that.
Cameron, do we have any announcements or anything coming up for this week?
Well, I have one announcement. First off, last week I was your bestest friend, and this week I'm your good friend. What's going on? You got something to tell me, or?
Not Cameron. Not on the air. Not right now.
Not where the magic
we'll talk
happens,
later, Cameron. We'll talk later.
No, we're already in a professional environment, okay? Because we just released our first module, okay? So now we have to say things like, we'll talk offline. Make sure to catch back up. Stuff like that.
During our next meet and greet.
We'll circle back to this, and we'll make sure that we understand.
That's the one.
Okay. But yeah, so speaking of modules, so we have our module, A Brush with the Wall Walker, coming out this week. Or actually, it's already out. So if you want to, you can head over to our Twitter, to our Reddit, to our every freaking thing that you can find us at. You can head over there, and we've got it posted up, ready for you to go. We're also going to be dropping it on the our D&D and our Dungeons & Dragons subreddits as well, just in case anybody else wants to have a free module. It's a lot of fun. Rich, what is that module about? Can we have like a brief, not synopsis, but a synopsis?
Gotcha. The module itself takes place in a museum. I believe the theme in the scenario was inside of a painting, and was it museum? Oh, it was stealing.
It was stopping and retrieving an artifact that was stolen from a museum. That's what it was.
That's right. Yep. So we mixed those two together, and we came up with this NPC named Russ, or close to Ross. Maybe there's a Bob Ross thing there. We're not sure. But Russ is the descendant of a old Gary Gygax NPC called Nolzer. Nolzer kind of created this item called the Marvelous Paints and Pigments. So Russ, in our story, kind of took that to the next level and can summon power from paintings, walk through paintings, animate statues. So it's about a 6 or 7 page module with some different encounter types and some boss fights, which, speaking of which, me and Cam thought we had a good idea for Nolzer, and then of course the ever so wise, and just the more I think about it, gifted NPC creator Combi Zombie helped us really make him into a force to be reckoned with. There's a giant paint monster boss fight at the end. It's a great encounter, and it's free. So, I mean, what's to lose by going and checking it out, right?
And we hope you'll run it, honestly. I mean, it would be so much fun to hear any kind of stories that came of it. Obviously, we had a lot of success with the Rakshasa Horror Picture Show, and we feel like this one is more fleshed out, still gives you a lot of the tools as a DM to sort of take things the way you want them to go, and it's a lot of fun. So we're really excited, and we hope y'all enjoy it too.
Yeah, and as always too, since we're filling in the gaps, we didn't fill in all the gaps for you guys. We left some spots, like Cam said, some encounter ideas we didn't have time for, like a skeletal dragon or animated statues, so you can kind of still make it your own.
Yeah, absolutely. In other words, we left room for you to fill in the gaps.
He said the thing! He said the thing!
So, in addition to that, we have our dice giveaway. That was for 25 reviews. Again, thank you so much to everybody that has left a review.
Seriously,
if
guys,
you haven't left a review, what are you doing? You better leave us a review right now. I'm just kidding. Yeah. If you haven't left a review, just come on over, leave a review. If not, don't care. Whatever. We're having fun. Yeah, here it is.
Forget you guys.
But
Whatever.
But nonetheless, we are doing a review sponsored by Libris Arcana. So anybody that does win, you will be receiving a code from Libris Arcana themselves that you can then directly input on their site, and they will send you a set of dice themselves with a lot of other stuff. I got my Libris Arcana here recently this week, and they've got a bunch of stickers and all kinds of fun little podcasts inside of there as well.
Stickers?
Yeah, they got stickers.
They're stickers?
Yeah, they have stickers for like one of our friends over at Flintlocks and Fireballs. It's another podcast that they do, like a pirate themed podcast. Another really fun one. So they've got all these different little cool treats that you can have along with that. So there you go. There's always
Guys,
that.
also, one last announcement that me and Cam did not prepare for at all. And he might say, Rich, that was a terrible idea. How dare you? And then drive up to Ohio and smack my wrist. Mm-hmm. But we've thought before about updating our logo. We kind of like our cartoony notebook type feel, but as we've kind of been going on, we thought, hey, maybe it's time for a little bit of a facelift. If any of you guys out there do art, we'd love to see your ideas for what we could do with the new logo. Cam, does that sound okay if they send us that on like Discord or something?
Yeah, I'm all about it, man. I mean, the more community interaction we have and like just having fun with you guys, I don't really care. You could put up a picture of me just completely naked as our logo. I mean, as long as it's fine with everybody.
Dude, and make it into stickers.
Yeah, and then send it out to multiple people throughout the United States. This is exactly what my goal was when we started this.
It's perfect.
I have two goals when I started this podcast. One was to send out a naked picture of myself to every human being in the United States. Number two was to ask you this question.
Okay.
Shall we roll?
Let's do it. I'm sure that everyone listening at home is like, thank you so much that Cam finally asked the question. Sorry guys, the intro was a little longer than usual, but we're just having a good time, okay? Alright, so don't judge us. But for those of you guys who are new, like I said earlier, we're going to be rolling 2 D20s. Today, I am rolling for our scenarios, I believe. Oh no, I'm rolling for our themes. Cam is rolling for our scenarios.
Yes.
We're going to figure out over the next 40-ish minutes what it is we're going to be brainstorming. Cam, I'm rolling a green and black dice today. What you got?
I have myself a royal purple dice with black speckles and gold lettering. So.
Oh man. Oh, all right. Well, let's go ahead and roll this and see what we get.
Here we go. Nice.
All right. I got an 18. 18.
I got a 15.
All right. Well, Cam, while you figure out what this episode's going to be on, I'm going to go ahead, and I know you already mentioned a little bit, but I'm going to tell everybody a little bit more about our fantastic sponsor, Libris Arcana Dice. Do you like dice? Do you like D&D? Do you like things that are kind of random? You probably do because you're here. Well, Libris Arcana Dice takes those things and molds them together into something beautiful. You can go ahead and sign up for a monthly or a tri-monthly subscription, which means that you go ahead and you pay per month, and they will send you a random set of D&D dice, a full set. Or you can pay every 3 months and they will send you 3 sets of dice. Now, where do we come in? If you use the promo code FITG, you will get 25% off your first order. So we recommend checking out their website, using the 25% off promo code on their 3-month set, and getting yourself some really cheap dice. But Cam, 15 and 18, what is the episode for today?
Our theme, this was an interesting one. Our theme is MouseTrap.
Ooh, okay, MouseTrap.
Okay, and our scenario is Lost at Sea or Stranded. MouseTrap was brought to us by LaGravy, and Lost at Sea or Stranded was brought to us by Dunn or Ben T, respectively. So,
okay, Cam, as always, let me ask you this question. When we say MouseTrap and Lost at Sea / Stranded at Sea, what comes to your mind?
Mice pirates, definitely.
Of course, the logical thing. Mice pirates, of course.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I am just not seeing. Wow, that's not seeing.
I'm not seeing something.
I just can't get the image out of my head of a Blackbeard mouse person.
Dude, we definitely need, because the more you talk, the more I think this sounds freaking adorable.
I know.
We have to do it.
Yes, and instead of it being in like I almost want this to be a supplement for our Shrunken Adventure.
Yes.
And here's what I'm thinking, and just tell me to shut up if I need to. But
okay,
I've had some thoughts about this because I've been playing Mice and Mystics like I mentioned last week. But I was thinking about like how much fun it would be to use those minis in the game as actual NPCs if I ever had a chance to shrink my players. And so I was like, that would be a lot of fun. Well, now that we're in this scenario, what if we're in like the backyard of an area or something like that, or a small stream, or maybe a small little lake, or, you know, a small collection of water that has been sort of overrun. It's like an archipelago of sorts, and it has like a bunch of different islands all throughout, and it's essentially run by like a pirate economy, but they're mice pirates instead. And again, it could be...
I do love that idea, but at the same time, I have this other idea that I think could be good. Mm-hmm. Can I tell you my idea real quick?
No.
But if we but if we go with my idea, there still have to be mice pirates, even if they're like humanoid sized mice.
Okay, that's fine. And that's an easy, like, I can make that happen.
Because here's the thing I'm thinking of. In D&D, there are a bunch of really cool water monsters that I don't think get enough like playtime. Because they're just kind of weird. When am I going to throw this water monster into my session? I mean, of course, there's the Kraken. There's aboliths, which I personally love because aboliths are like Krakens, but mixed with like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, just very old, gaudy feel. And then I think there's something else from Volos. I'm going to say the name wrong because I don't have my book in front of me, but I think it's called a Mordath. It's like a giant octopus from space that kind of collects things on its back and makes these giant layers. What if the MouseTrap wasn't necessarily a trap for an actual mouse, but you essentially trying to trap one of these giant creatures? Essentially, it's like Moby-Dick.
Yes.
Like you meet this captain who's trying to hunt down one of these giant creatures,
As I slam my book shut. That's it. I was like on the page of that whatever that monster you said, the Mob-Dial or whatever. Oh, wow, you were way off, by the way.
Oh, was I?
Yeah,
what is it?
The Morkoth.
Morkoth, of course.
Close enough, right, I guess, you know?
I got you to the page, you know?
It can't...
But, yeah, so this type of Moby-Dick experience
like
where
that,
you are...
The idea of MouseTrap, I always think of, like, get the players getting trapped, but again... For any DM out there, don't trap your players inside of a dungeon. They're always going to try to fight to get out of it. So let your players do the trapping. And the trapping of this giant monster is a great idea. And these little mice pirates being the ones to hire your players and having to deal with other mice pirate ships and merfolk and krakens and all this kind of stuff. It's a glorious sea adventure. And that can lead our players to become stranded or lost at sea, or that's how they meet the pirates themselves. One of the two.
Ooh, I like that idea too. Okay, so which creature though? Is there one we thinking of in particular? Now I will say an aboleth doesn't necessarily. I love them, but they don't make sense for a like open sea encounter. I mean, you could make them work, but I think they're more like an Underdark or in a body of water where they can more hide.
You know,
because they're more about like the manipulation.
How many gargantuan creatures have we done? Like not
I feel like
have we done
not a lot, but I feel like we've done a few.
We've done the Slod. We've done the orange Slod. I can't think of really many that we've done.
So, maybe we have.
Okay,
what are you thinking?
I have two. and actually we could use both of them. A dragon turtle's the first one.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the reason for the dragon turtle is because I want to do a giant dragon turtle. I don't know. I just want to. Screw you.
That sounds sweet. Yeah.
It sounds badass. But the other one is a kraken, which is just, classic and good old-fashioned, storytelling, in other words. But...
Well, what are the details for a dragon turtle? Catch us up to speed. I think we're familiar with dragons and turtles.
They are
what's a dragon
dragons of the deep. Like true dragons, dragon turtles collect treasure first by sinking ships and then by sifting through the wreckage for coins and other precious items.
Boom, there's your captain's backstory right there.
Yeah.
I can just see this captain, and that bloody dragon turtle left me there, robbed of my crew, of my gold, and I grabbed onto that barrel and I shouted up at the storm that one day Captain Squeakers will get his revenge.
So the synopsis is done already. That's great. Oh, this is nice. Mercenary monsters. A dragon turtle is smart enough to be bribed, and pirates sailing seas patrolled by these creatures quickly learn to offer them treasure. Here's another reason why we should use the dragon turtle. Because what if, in the distance, your players see an island, and it's a craggly island, and it seems like there's like trees and moss and myconoids growing on it, and but it looks like a populated island, right? And then the dragon turtle comes up and it rises up, and you notice that it's actually a dragon turtle, but on its back it has its own like pirates that have essentially bribed it to be their ship, and so they've become this famed like this like infamous pirate gang that uses this dragon turtle. And they say, essentially, if you help us go take these ships, we'll take a small percentage of the gold, you can have the rest, and we'll just do what we got to do from right there. And so this dragon turtle flies around the seas looking for these different kind of ships to eat and take all their treasure. And we should put a cool monster that talks to them as well. Maybe some maybe merfolk. I don't know. What are you thinking? Maybe I'm getting a little off on my rant over here.
No, I think that sounds awesome. I think a dragon turtle, and it being sentient, it kind of being sentient too, kind of gives this cool opportunity for whether these mice are helping you or like hurting you. That essentially gives us the opportunity for now. Not only are we hunting this giant dragon turtle, but it also gives us the opportunity to do some ship versus ship combat, which can be as simple or as complicated as you want that to be for your party. But it kind of gives you just it itself provides more encounters built around it, which I think is sweet.
I love pirates, by the way. Like, I'm a huge pirate guy. My wife gets really mad at me because I cosplay at work. And I'm an electrician, so it's really difficult on my job. But,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
But I have an idea, and I want you to. Okay. So, I like tabaxis. I like them a lot. And I think that there's a good bit of irony in a ship filled with mice pirates chasing a dragon turtle that's filled with cats. And it's a cat and mouse game, and we're trying to trap not only the cats themselves, but so these cat pirates, these tabaxis, like I don't know what we could call them, like the Fangtooth clan or something like that. They which by the way makes no sense because that's essentially saying the Tooth clan, which is now their name. The
Tooth clan.
Hello, we are the Tooth clan. Yes, we are the kitty cats of the sea. That's not how kitty cats do it, but it's okay. But I just like the idea of like these really dexterous tabaxi. Also, they're sort of similar to the dragon turtle, and the tabaxis love collecting jewels, and they're very curious, and they're always moving on to their next sort of treasure. And so this dragon turtle sort of perpetuates that idea for them. It's like, ooh, another ship. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And so, oh man, this is great.
I think this sounds awesome.
I'm sorry
I've been quiet. I've been thinking through an idea in my own head, kind of based off of this idea, which I think is, I love the irony of it. I love the creatures because they're different. And I was thinking through different things that could happen throughout this session as you're either with this mice pirate or as you're being introduced to these mice pirates, or even they don't even have to be pirates at this point because the tabaxi are pirates, but these mice, or this mouse captain, whatever. So what if originally I was thinking that we allow the players to come up with an idea for how to trap this giant dragon turtle, which I think is good. It gives them the opportunity to brainstorm. If you think you have players who can do that, then awesome. If not, I think it would be good for the captain to have an idea and for him to enlist your players in on that idea. So that got me thinking to like, okay, what kind of things could we do that can trap this giant dragon turtle? Maybe not realistically, but things that could happen. And I was thinking through, you could have it, swim through a certain coral reef and get stuck, and you have this they're waiting around in the shallows of this coral reef as ships are firing on this dragon turtle, and your troops are like fighting, like you kind of go up on like a skimmer almost.
Yeah, and you essentially mount the dragon turtle's back, and now you're fighting on this island turtle boat with
Yep.
against these tabaxi, against essentially.
And another thing you could do too is you could even give your players. I've been playing a lot of Earth Defense Force 5 recently, just a classic AAA game. And one thing that I love playing the class where you can call in airstrikes. And I think it would be so cool for you to be fighting on the back of this turtle and for you to have one item that's like a cannon fire item. Mm-hmm. And when you throw it, it releases a bunch of black smoke really quickly, and the cannons fire directly at that spot.
Yeah.
And that would be, if I'm a player and you give me that option, I'm like, freaking sweet. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
to have all.
To piggyback on that, you could even shoot mice over to you.
Oh gosh, that'd be so sweet. So there's that idea. Mm-hmm. There's the idea that, and that could be a sandbar too. It doesn't have to be like a coral reef.
Okay.
It could be a sandbar. The other thing I was thinking is having there be like either an underwater volcano or a Pompeii style like an island. I don't know why I said Pompeii, but have like an island that's a volcano, mm-hmm. and maybe you lure the dragon close or the dragon turtle close, and then they explode the volcano, and the water and lava mixing kind of traps one of its legs or something like that, mm-hmm. so it's stuck in place. Which then that adds a stinking volcano to the mix, which that could be really cool.
The colors in my mind are like a green, blue, yellows, like a lot of blues, a lot of sand, a lot of trees. I just mm-hmm. It seems very bright. It's like a very bright campaign or very bright module compared to like a lot of the more dark and dreary stuff that we deal with. So let's do this. Let's rein this guy in for a second.
Okay.
Because we still need to figure out about our scenario, because we've got a really cool little scenario in the sense that our player we're essentially in stage 2. And we need to go back to stage 1 because our players were somehow lost at sea or stranded.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep, we did.
You know what I mean?
Yep, we did kind of move past that.
Yeah. And so, like, what I'm envisioning, and see, here's the problem. This requires you to be in a campaign. You could, I mean, if you one-shot this, whatever, you wake up on a beach. That's, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're incorporating this idea into a campaign, you need to be near a body of water. And I guess by any definition, you could essentially put your players near that and then create a scenario where that could happen.
Yeah.
But my question is, like, how should we approach it? Like, I guess more or less we should just approach it like we would within most of our stories in terms of our brainstorming is creating almost like essentially a one shot of sorts, right?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. So with that being said, how are they lost at sea? How do they get stranded? How do you start this module to them?
Man, the whole lost at sea thing is, that is tricky. What you could do is you could have them already pre-enlist into this captain's army, or hear rumor that there is someone out on this specific island hiring crew for this job. Yep. And while they're on the way there, they get attacked by these pirates or these dragon turtles, and then the other captain shows up and pulls them out of the water.
Yes. I like that.
Because that could be a really cool introduction, like your ship just explodes. It's almost like the intro to Divinity 2, almost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Super much. Super much. That's the thing.
Super much.
That's a thing
super
that
much,
people
much.
say all the time. People are like, you know what? I had a super much good day today.
Yeah.
No, that's 100% Divinity 2. By the way, we need to get back to that. But again, got to let you be in the mood.
It has been a while.
Yeah, you got to get Rich always told me he needed to be in the mood to play it. But what he was actually saying was, Cameron, I don't love you anymore. And so
that's exactly it. Oh, man.
Yeah, but it is. It's very much like Divinity 2 in the sense that this giant void monster blows up the ship. And now they were being shipped to a specific location anyways. I really want to hammer home the idea that you had right there with, it's a bulletin board. It's essentially like, oh, look, you can go do this. Because now we have a thread that we can dangle it into players that already have existing stories while also treating it as a one-shot at the same time. And so it's like, hey, look, there is a captain that will pay this much gold or this much. I think we would need more time to really, truly get a good idea of what kind of rewards he could give for this monster. But nonetheless, let's say it's a satisfactory reward. your players will then say, okay, let's go do that. And then on the way out there, that's when you can sort of hit the cutscene on them for a second. Mm-hmm. And now my only question is...
Well, the other thing... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you do sort of take control away from them at that point, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, I think you give them control during the cutscene still. Like, as the ship's exploding, because they're going to want to get to either a lifeboat or help NPCs they met on the ship into the lifeboat. But then once they're in the water, you kind of just maybe have them roll a survival check or have them, like, sleep through the night. Maybe have a small encounter where they do fight off some sharks or something like that. So it doesn't feel like it's just, oh, let's fast forward. But I don't mind that. It's part of the story.
Yeah, either way, I see that it's fine in my mind. But you were going to say something, so what do you got?
Well, I was going to say one thing, too, is because I always like to think whether this is like a low-level party or a high-level party. One thing about this session, too, it kind of sounds like, is we're not saying that your players themselves have to kill this dragon turtle. Your players will be assisting in the hunting and killing of it. Like, I think that the cannons on the ship is what probably kills this giant monster, but your players are going to be in the mix of it, in the fray, like helping that happen. So if you're like a DM who's got like level 1 through 5 party members, if you're level 1s, then the pirates might not be that difficult to fight. But they themselves don't have to be at the power level where they kill this dragon turtle. The dragon turtle will not be distracted by the fleas that are this low-level party. It's going to be focusing on trying to take down the cannons on these ships.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and so the action less relies on the act of combat and more on the skill checks involved with, oh, you need to patch up this hole that's happened in the bottom portion of the ship right here. Or, oh, you found yourself in like a giant vortex. You got to man the sails and be able to hold these things together or something like that. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
And one thing too that I think could be awesome for the reason why they can't just blast away at this turtle from a distance is maybe going back to this idea of these like smoke or signal grenades. Maybe your party has to go and they have to get on top of the sea turtle and actually light up where there's a weak spot in the shell. Mm-hmm. That way it's not like, well, why do you need... Just shoot your cannons at it. Like, big deal. It's right there. Just hit it.
Yes.
So maybe your party has to, like, kind of infiltrate, sneak around, or fight their way through these pirates and also say, hey, right here, this is a weak spot. Fire your cannons right here.
Yes, I like that a lot. So, essentially, we've gotten to the point where the players have been found by Captain Cheesebeard, and then Captain Cheesebeard has said, like, hey, welcome to my thing. This is what we need to do. And maybe we go through one failed attempt at the capturing of this sea turtle, essentially like that coral reef scenario. It slows the sea turtle up, but it's finally able to make its way out, and then you get to the next location or something like that, and now you've backed it into this volcanic sort of like a bay, and you sort of cornered it there. And so it's maybe getting beached or it's being held back by the volcanic, like the lava mixing with the water, like you said earlier. Then you mount them and now you can find that weak spot. I really enjoy that because it then lets your players, it's funny because it's not necessarily combat. It is in a lot of ways, but it's not in a lot of ways at the same time.
When you hear dragon turtle, you think, I'm going to have to fight this dragon turtle.
Right.
But you're more fighting the pirates that are its allies. Mm-hmm. So you're fighting just essentially humanoids, which I think some people get bored of fighting, but the way you're fighting them makes it seem like, you're actually versing this actual dragon turtle.
Yeah, because I almost envision this like sort of sand castle on top of the back of this dragon turtle.
Yes.
Of sorts. Yep. That's like sort of
or at least
together.
Like, yeah, or if there's like trees on it and these tabaxi have these like tree forts.
Yeah. That makes more sense because if the dragon turtle was to go up and down or something like that, it would make it more stable.
It almost looks like a ship under the water and then it rises up.
Yeah.
And it's like this broken, cracked ship on top of the sea turtle.
Right.
That's cool. Now, one thing too, I like the idea, you talked about having a failed encounter with this dragon turtle first.
Yes.
What if there's something where, going back to the whole stranded idea, as the players are on their way to even meet with this captain, that's the failed encounter.
Yeah,
They're on this
that's a
ship
good
with just
point.
civilians.
That's a really good
And
point.
they're talking to a few civilians, getting to know some people, and then all of a sudden this thing explodes. So some NPCs I could think of that make some fun encounters. You have a bandit you have a white collar criminal essentially who's there with some guards, and he kind of like lets you know, hey, if you help me escape from this boat before I get to this prison, I'll pay you. Then you meet some common folk. You meet some other NPCs who your players might like. You throw in some good people, some bad people, and then when this dragon turtle, all of a sudden just rocks into this boat and water starts seeping in, and there's only so many lifeboats and people are crying out for help. Your players have the opportunity to think through, who are we going to save? Then after that encounter, they're either on a lifeboat holding on to planks of wood. The night goes by, and no, they do not get a long rest. No spell slots back.
I'm a Triton, okay? So I get all my rest, okay? Because I'm in the water.
Is that a thing?
I highly doubt it. Actually, keep talking.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing, though.
Keep talking.
Are you checking it out? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up actually.
Then in the meantime, after that night passes, that's when this other pirate ship shows up. Or this other ship shows up, and you're probably thinking at this point, oh no, are we rescued? Are we going to get to a fight? And that's when you meet this mouse captain.
Yeah. And he's like,
and he kind of shows up and he says, hey, we're here to help rescue you guys. We rescued a few other people as well from last night. I'm tracking down this dragon turtle. And instead of you just, saying that I was a victim, why don't you join me and my crew? I'll pay you handsomely, and you can be the part of helping us trap this giant, turtle jerk.
That's his name, actually. The great
giant turtle jerk.
Yeah, the giant turtle jerk of the Caspian Sea. That's what his name is. It's weird. It's almost like as if you read my mind on that one. So, okay, I like that though, because the NPCs that you introduced on that original boat also have some long-term implications on the new boat that they maybe were captured by or recovered by, more importantly. And so you've saved the thief, but now he's become a troublesome person on the boat. And depending on how long you take this, then you can start incorporating other encounters, natural encounters that you would have on the sea in the first place, like sirens or merfolk, or not merfolk, but who would you have? What are they called again?
The shark folk. I know what you're talking about. I think another thing too that would be so cool is a whirlpool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A kraken and a whirlpool. Name a better duo. I'll wait.
Well, I wasn't going to say a kraken in a whirlpool. I was just thinking the dragon turtle itself, maybe one of the first encounters with it before the trapping encounter, is you're sailing up to this dragon turtle, you're peppering it with cannon fire, and then all of a sudden it slows down, and then it just pulls itself down into the water. Yeah. And in doing so, it creates such like an air vacuum. I don't know if this is actual physics. It's probably not. But in this scenario, it's gonna make this.
No, it could be. Yeah,
it's gonna make this and it's gonna make this whirlpool that kind of traps your party. And I think it uses the whirlpool to kind of escape, or to kind of get away. But you're still left with having to make these skill checks and pulling people on board and making sure your ship doesn't get ripped apart or submerged or flipped. And that could be cool.
Yeah. What about? I actually love that idea. Because we've had this, maybe we have like an initial encounter with the tabaxi on the back of the dragon turtle, and it's like a skirmish of sorts, and then they dissipate and they go away, and then we see them now protecting the dragon turtle, but this is the time when your players have come to actually locate the weak spot, and Captain what's his name gonna be? Is it Cheesebeard? I don't know.
I don't know.
I was gonna be like Gouda, like Captain Parmigiana or something like that. But yeah, they call me Captain the Parmesan. No, I don't know.
Captain the Parmesan. You're Italian, so you can get away with that.
Yeah, I am so Italian and definitely not blonde hair, blue eyed. But so they see that they hit the weak spot of the dragon turtle, right? And the dragon turtle escapes. I like this idea of, I think that the tabaxi would be like, wait, hold on, wait, where are you going? And the dragon turtle's like, peace out. And then he goes down. And now you can present the players with like a mercy moment of trying to maybe
of whether or not to save these Tabaxi.
Yeah, while they're also dealing with this whirlpool, or maybe after the whirlpool ends or something like that, you could introduce one, or maybe this could be a great opportunity for you to have one that your players could question or something like that.
Ooh, yes, I like that idea. Okay, yep, I like this idea. Which that's one thing I don't think parties do enough. I don't think there's enough. Well, then again, I can't say that. That's a broad statement. The parties I've played with, they don't usually take prisoners. There's no questioning. There's no intel gathering.
That's weird, because I do specifically remember 2 specific player characters doing a very good job of questioning a lady.
Okay, you guys, but you're new, okay? All right? Take it easy.
We're new? I don't know. You mispronounced season pro is all I could say. So
okay. But no, I like the idea though, because I like the idea too of if they're on the back of the shell, or if they're on this like fort and this dragon turtle just starts going under, you're not just in a ship on a whirlpool, you're in the whirlpool.
Yeah.
Like those checks mean a lot more. Those spells you cast, those abilities you use. Of course the ship will pull in and get close to the whirlpool and be maybe even getting into the whirlpool because it's a temporary one, not like a permanent one. But that whole encounter in my mind is going to be one where your players are like, "Oh, that was so intense."
Yeah, that's how I can see like right before your final encounter to go and finally capture the dragon turtle itself. And this
because you realize at that point your players and the captain are like, okay, we can't just chase this thing.
Yeah,
like we can't just chase it down. It'll get away. It'll do that again, and
we need to.
Like, we were lucky to get away that time, but
and then Tabaxi washes up onto the side of the boat, and he's like, "Help me!" And then they pull him up, and they're like, "Tell me what you know about that damn dragon turtle." Mm-hmm. And then he's all. Okay, so we've got a cool one right here, because it goes initial encounter knocks up the civilian boat. Not knocks up the civilian boat flies around the ocean, now pregnant because it got knocked up by the dragon turtle. I'm sorry. Blows up.
That's so. Yep.
How many months are
Rex.
you? It's rude to
Destroys.
ask. I am a ship. Yeah. Anyway, so destroys the ship, then moves on, and our captain picks up our players, our stranded players, and the random NPCs that come with them. Drag them into the initial encounter with what players think is an island, or like a wrecked ship on a sandy island, that they are like, look, we can go mess with that or something like that. And then they realize that's the dragon turtle itself. That's sort of like the exposed moment. And then the players try to find the weak spot. Then they get trapped in the vortex whirlpool. And now we're on to our final encounter, actually, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
And there's some other things too you can pepper in there. Like you said, you could pepper in like some of those like shark folk or merfolk.
Well, there's actually
with
so I found out that there's a type of lycanthrope that's a shark, a were shark.
Oh, were sharks?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Have those. That could even be someone who's like secretly on the ship, like your ship the whole time, working with the dragon turtle.
Yeah.
And there's like a certain, maybe there's if you want your session to be longer, there's a night where, you kind of have to save the captain from this were shark, assassinating him or something. Yeah. Or trying to sink the ship or something like that.
Yeah.
But then, essentially we are to our final encounter, which is volcano exploding, them triggering a volcano explosion that trapped this dragon turtle.
The only reason why I don't want to have a finale with a dragon turtle with a volcano is because we did a volcano finale with Wizard Mario Kart the other day.
Oh, that's right. I just really like volcanoes, man.
Man, I'm a huge fan of volcanoes. I'm all about volcanoes. And I will gladly make a volcano ending with it. But I figured that the volcano could have been used towards the center portion of the thing.
So how do we trap this dragon turtle then?
I think that the captain he calls in maybe some other pirates or something like that, and is able to just bear with me on this one. I'm just going to throw out a basic idea. He calls in a bunch of friends, and then essentially a bunch of those friends, Gulliver's Travels this giant dragon turtle with rope and everything like that. How did Moby Dick do it? He just shot it with the harpoon, right? Well, what about this then? What if they are able to track it one more time, and they say, we've got this dragon bone harpoon gun here, and they were like, if we can land it in that spot, we should be able to stay attached to this thing.
Oh, I like this.
And that creates some amazing stuff.
Yep. Because now you have to sneak onto the dragon turtle at some point. You've got to take a small skiff in the night, get close to this dragon turtle, land, wait probably till morning maybe, without being detected. So it's a little bit of a stealth session.
Yeah.
Then in the morning, you've got to dispatch of some of these tabaxi or find a location where you set these things off. The harpoons get landed. There's probably several ships, so you have to launch off several quickly. And that's cool. And then after that, it's just cannon fire. I think I like the idea still of you having several of these cannon fire things you can call in, like artillery strikes. But I like that idea a lot.
That way, but the only question I have is, how do we get multiple ships in there?
I like the idea of what you said. The captain calls in favors.
Yeah. He could provide the greatest of cheese, Gouda.
The greatest of cheese.
Actually,
the dragon turtle's horde.
Yeah. Oh man, the dragon turtle's been hoarding all their cheese.
If you make it where this tabaxi is with your party, that could even be an option for one of the ships that you get. Is maybe there are some tabaxi who want to defect.
Or they realize that, hey man, this dragon turtle turned on us quicker than a dime.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I like the idea of a cat and a mouse working together to MouseTrap a giant dragon turtle. I mean, if that's not D&D, I don't know what is, man.
What is? Exactly. What's D&D if it's not this?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, so I like that idea a lot.
You could have the merfolk people that you encountered throughout the time. Maybe they help as well by throwing ropes or are able to... part of me wants to try to beach this dragon turtle. You know what I mean? Turtle. You could have.
That could be part of it. Is once you start attacking, maybe they have to pull. That's a lot of pulling, and I feel like this dragon turtle, if it really wanted to, could just be like nah to these ships.
That's what I'm saying. Is that it could just fly under or swim underwater and just go. You're coming down here now. That's my only concern with it.
Maybe there's a tinkerer or somebody who works alongside this captain, and you have airships exist in this world. Maybe they fire these harpoons, and once the harpoons connect, they connect to this giant airship balloon. And it can't completely lift this dragon turtle out of the water, but it can keep it from surfacing.
Yes.
Or from submerging.
Mm-hmm. And this could be like a pirate party of kinkus. And so you have all these essentially Volo's Guides to Monsters, but all in pirate ships. And so you've got the Tabaxi, really quick, fast pirate ship that's going around like just shooting off a bunch of different harpoons and maybe anchoring them to the small islands around. And then you've got the Kinku ship that's in an airship shooting down, pulling up and trying to keep the dragon turtle from going out. And then you finally got the mouse captain himself going in to try to, I guess, put the final blow to this dragon turtle, right? Mm-hmm. Unless your players want to do it themselves, right? Because the story's about our players, right? So like we want to have our players have that opportunity too.
Well, I think for me, if I am level 5 and you have me going against this level 30 thing that easily destroyed a ship that I was on, I'm like, what? How can I attack this thing?
Right.
But if you give me the artillery strike grenade and you let me feel like when I throw that thing, like I have impact with it, or I can set a trap and like lead pirates there and then like get a 2-for-1, I feel sweet. When you attach and you could even let me roll the dice for it, because essentially, what is it? It's you casting a beefed up version of Fireball, but instead of it being, you casting the spell, it's you triggering somebody else casting the spell, but you were still the one who said, here, now. And if you give that to your players, I feel like that's good enough.
Yeah. Because I think the feeling of like a player throwing that inside of the dragon turtle's mouth and then the smoke billowing out of its nose and then they're going like, release the cannons! And then it's just like... I think there's some really cool visuals to that. So you could still feel cool while not being the one that sort of lands the final blow. Or in that case, you could. I mean, in a way, by extension, you are still a key cog to this plan, in other words.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I like
and maybe
that.
you even give them multiple types of these smoke grenades. Maybe yellow is, anti-personnel. Maybe red is, this is for the dragon turtle. We have a weak spot. Maybe white or black is for the harpoons. That way they can kind of like choose which one they want to use.
Yeah, and that actually creates somewhat of a puzzle for them. Like a combat puzzle of sorts. Because now we have to determine how many we're taking with us. What are we doing? Do we can only carry so many? Because I would imagine these things to be like the size of a bowling ball, right? These grenades. And you light the fuse.
Yes. Yep. I'm even thinking like Molotov cocktail, message in a bottle. Like there's some kind of chemical in the bottle, and when they light it on fire.
Hey, it'd be really cool is that if you had like a wizard on the boat that was making up these scrolls and then putting them inside the messages in the bottle, and then when you threw the message on the bottle.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's just a
cool.
flavor thing. That's only flavor, but.
Now, another thing, too, that you had said is, and this could be an option for if they wanted to make this longer or not, but with, like, the merfolk, you could have, some of these javelins that hit the dragon turtle come in from below and still be attached to this giant balloon. And if you want to make them recruiting these, merfolk part of the adventure, you could definitely do that as well.
Yeah. This kind of has a Mass Effect 3 feel to it now that I think about it. Because
and the dragon turtle is like your Reaper.
Yeah, he's the Reaper, and then you're just trying to collect all these different species to come together, and even the species that sort of was symbiotic with the dragon turtle has now sort of rejected that lifestyle and is even helping our mice people along with our adventuring party as well.
And if you need help as a DM to justify all of these people signing on and being like, oh yeah, we'll totally help. Dragon hordes have a lot of gold, like a ton of stuff. So they would gladly split shares. I once had players essentially do something like this, but it was with a blue dragon living on like some islands. And I gave my players the opportunity to recruit like 3 or 4 different ships to help them fight this dragon. And all the captains said, cool, we'll do it, but we're taking a pretty big cut.
Yeah.
And the player still walked away rich.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you have an opportunity for really cool magical items that are all like sea based or sea themed, if you will. I think that's another really cool thing as well, like a net, like a fishing net.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's not a magic item. I'm just saying like an actual fishing net. Those are really
just an actual net.
Yeah, those are really
cool.
Pole. Yeah, people were like, "Oh man, this is so great." I've been looking.
Trident,
Yeah, and a full tackle set, boom, and it hasn't ever been opened. It actually still has plastic wrapping on it and a coupon.
And you're like, "Oh, so good! Wow, I got this."
Yeah, a gun, like a pistol.
Yes. A cannon. But okay, I think this is the signal that we've reached the end of the episode.
Yeah, I would say so.
So you're doing our synopsis for this week. I'll give a quick synopsis. Then you can kind of take us away with a little mental picture. But just, I know Cam did this a little while ago, so I'll keep it short. The episode, in general, covers the idea where your party members somehow are either recruited or hear about the idea, or maybe they're even just on a ship that gets attacked by a dragon turtle. The turtle sinks the ship, giving your players a chance to kind of practice some survival elements, save some people as the ship is going down. They themselves are stranded on some planks of wood and rescued by a mouse captain who rescues them along with some other NPCs and recruits them with the promise of fame and money to hunt down this dragon turtle. You have one failed encounter where it creates a whirlpool and your players are trapped, but also gain some allies with the tabaxi. And then finally you chase it down and use some different colored grenades to launch some giant harpoons that keep it from submerging itself. Then you have some other options to call on like artillery strikes and things like that from the nearby ships. And eventually the ships probably deal enough damage to kill the dragon, but you are on its back fighting the pirates that call its shell its home, or their home. Cameron, what is your synopsis for this week?
I believe we're going to go with Captain Cheesebeard realizing that the dragon turtle has submerged.
Ooh, I like this.
And a small whirlpool has formed.
I like it.
Yeah, okay. So as your players, as the final cannon shot lands in a very red and what seems to be wounded spot of this dragon turtle, you notice that it slowly sinks into the water, its shell falling with it behind, and as it goes down, you start to see the shadowy figure fade away as it continues to move downwards and downwards and downwards. And you look to Captain Cheesebeard and he says, "Well, it looks like we've got it all taken care of, doesn't it?" And then you hear from atop the crow's nest, Captain, you might want to look at this." And as you look over the edge, you see a small 1-inch in diameter circle start to spin. And as the spin happens, it becomes more and more wide around until it starts to become a whirlpool, a swirling vortex of water as it begins slowly drifting the front end of the ship towards it. And then it starts beginning to grab the ship and tilt it on its side as it's swirling all around, and this vortex is now captured and you are now fully within a whirlpool. And the Captain Cheesebeard looks to you and he goes, "Are you ready to go swimming?" And then they all fade away, and I clipped really hard right there, but you know.
No, I think that, dude, I want to run that scene so bad.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
that'd be so cool.
What I've realized about our podcast is that it's gotten to the point now where instead of us wanting to run these full campaigns, we're like, "Hey, do you mind just like running like a 15-minute, like just give me this thing. Just let me have this really
scene.
cool."
Just this scene, please. That'd be awesome.
I've always wanted to run that guy eating the flies in the desert. Remember that scene? I always wanted to run that.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
Who eats it for like survival? Oh,
Yeah.
That's right. Blah, blah, blah. Well, thank you. I didn't need to remember that, but I'm glad
Here we are,
I have
guys.
that
Here we
image
are.
in my head.
Yeah. So here's the clipping, and here's your ears bleeding and mine bleeding at the same time. So it's perfect.
Ooh,
Yeah.
and that's what we offer here at Filling in the Gaps. Now, Cam, if people are interested in more of their ears or brains bleeding, where can they find us at?
You can find us on WebMD. If you go type in "my ears are bleeding," or what are the causes
It'll
of
be
this?
causes. Yeah,
Number one, probably internal bleeding. Number two, filling in the gaps.
filling in the gaps. Yep.
You can also find us on Twitter at FitGDND, FITGDND. If you want to leave any recommendations for themes or scenarios, tweet at us using the hashtag FITG and leave the different ideas that you have in there, and we will put them in our show. We did that today, actually, with a few of you. We haven't gotten to
Had
those
some new
ideas
ones.
yet, but we are excited to when we do. You can also go join us over on our Reddit. Our Reddit's a lot of fun. We are slowly but surely. That's a really great place to get a lot of announcements and just sort of have any kind of conversations that you want to. You can also leave themes and scenario ideas over there. Go join our Discord. Our Discord's a lot of fun too. We talk a lot about DMing. We call it the Hive Mind. It's
The Hive Mind.
pretty much just a collection of people sort of sharing their experience with DMing, and people are specialized in so many different things. We have guys like Dungeon Master Dax, great at painting. We have guys like, and he's got obviously great at other things too, but just really highlights. We got Combi Zombie is an absolute masterclass monster maker. Molly makes these incredible ideas just to create a bunch of inspiration for him. So that's a lot of fun as well. And you can go see us on our Instagram, and we'll be on a few more social media sites here soon, but I'll post that when that happens. So Other than that, yeah, man.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Filling in the Gaps. Like I said earlier, we are not an actual play podcast, but we hope that some of the ideas from this episode help you to actually play. We hope you have a good next game night, and we'll see you on the next one.
I like it. Always love this song. This damn song is great. You know what else is great? These guys. Bombarded. Bombarded is a musical D&D podcast adventure that features Dallas-Fort Worth band Linby playing as an all-bard cast. Dungeon Maestro Kyle leads Yashi, Razul, son of Azul, and Randy through their education at Strumlot's School for Bards, and the misadventures that they encounter along the way. Everyone brings real instruments to the table to perform their bard spells, and each episode provides a new song composed by rolling chord dice. Check out bombardedcast.com for more info, or just search Bombarded wherever you get podcasts.